Hi, it's Mr. Creed here from Gateacre. I've just put together this short video today to talk to you a little bit about the TAGs, the teacher assessed grades, and talk to you a little bit about some worries and anxieties that you may have and how it's going to work and what we're going to be doing in school. The first thing I'd say is the fact that don't worry. We've done this before. We've been through this last year, and it was a lot more complicated last year than what it is this year, thankfully. So last year we had the algorithm, the dreaded algorithm. We had the government U-turns, and also we had to rank students within each grade as well, which we haven't got to do this year. So it's much more simple and straightforward this year. Our staff did an amazing job last year. We had no issues at all, no problems with exam boards, and the vast majority of students, if not all, were very pleased with what they've got. So don't panic. We've got this. We know what we're doing, and we do it well. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is the fact that, you've heard off the government's BBC, etc., the fact that it is going to be teacher assessed grades this year. Information is still being released slowly from the likes of Ofqual, from the likes of exam boards. So it's still very much for us an emerging picture. We don't know. Every week things are changing. Every week we're finding out new things. One of the biggest ones for us is the exam board. At Easter time, will be releasing more materials for us, which we may or may not choose to look at in terms of departments. Some departments will, some departments won't. We don't have to, but that material will be available to us. So it's an emerging picture. It is changing, and as I say, we've got the vast majority of information, but things will develop over the next few weeks anyway. Ultimately, it's going to be teacher assessed grades this year. It won't just be a single teacher assessing their grade. And like last year, this happened last year, it's in collaboration with the department. So as a member of the science department, I will be discussing my grades with other colleagues for my students and the evidence that I have of your children, along with the head of department. And then as a member of the senior leadership team, we'll be discussing with heads of departments what their grades look like and their justification and evidence for them. And then I will be discussing that with the head teacher in terms of when we do our final sign off, which we have to do in terms of submitting the grades. Your child will only be tested on what they've been taught. Okay, so they won't be having necessarily new material. It could be when they come back, it's further teaching and consolidation of what they've already learned, and the previous work that they've done, and the previous work that they've done during lockdown as well. We can use any existing information that we've got to help us compile that grade. That could be in the form of classwork, homework, assessments, coursework, mocks that they've already done. And students will be doing more assessments over the coming weeks so that we can really sort of home in on their skills and their knowledge and their understanding so we can get the grades that the students deserve. Your child will have many more opportunities over the coming sort of 6 to 8 weeks to show us exactly what they can do and what they are capable of doing, because the grade is determined by the teacher and by the centre, but ultimately it's determined by the child in terms of what they can prove to us, what they know and what they don't know, and what grade we can give them based upon the answers to assessments or essays, depending on the subject and things like that, short answer questions. As I say, we will be completing the work ahead, further assessments over the weeks ahead, using existing materials, possibly new materials from the exam board when they're released at Easter. The exams won't be taking place, the assessments, won't be taking place in sports halls. It won't be formal settings. Got lots of flexibility from Ofqual with that. So done in classroom, potentially during a normal lesson. So it will be timed, so they might do shorter assessments, more shorter assessments over a shorter period of time, as opposed to having 2 or 3 hour exams, which they would get normally. Subjects that have got coursework, and there's not many subjects that have got coursework. Subjects that have got coursework, if there's a coursework element and a theory element, like an exam element, what we will do is the teacher will be looking at what coursework they've completed so far, and again, any theory or assessment work that they have done or may do in the future to compile a grade from that. Art will just be portfolio work, so there'll be no actual art exam, it'll just be what they've done in terms of their portfolio. And once we've got all the information together, there's a very rigorous internal quality assurance process that we go through, which I alluded to before, whereby it will be collaboration between departments, departmental staff. Then it will go to SLT, the likes of myself, discussing it with heads of departments, looking at their data. This is all what we did last year, so it's nothing new compared to what we did. And then again, it will be that discussion between myself and between the head teacher, looking at our final grades that will be submitted to the exam boards. As I said before, the grade that we as a centre and as classroom teachers submit is based upon the evidence that your child produces. And I can't emphasise that enough, and I've been doing this the same with my classes this week, is the fact that it's down to them. It's down to the work that they put in over the next 8 weeks, the work that they've done previously, so that we can try and get some really good, strong evidence to say that this child is at a grade, whatever it may be. Okay, so please emphasise that at home. And any students watching this, it's down to you. Okay. We want to ensure that no child is disadvantaged. In particular, special needs students got SEND issues, so they will get the same access arrangements. So in terms of, like, for example, extra time, that will be built into assessments that are done in school. The results day has changed this year, so the results day is now the 10th and 12th. Normally you'd have one week, for example a Thursday, and then the following Thursday would be the other one, so it tends to be A-level 1 week first, following week GCSE. This time it's both in the same week, so it's going to be quite a busy week for us. In terms of appeals, we're hoping the fact that we won't get many appeals, because we didn't get many appeals last year, but we didn't get a single appeal because we did it right. We followed the rules, we did everything right, and the students were pleased. In terms of appeals, the appeal will come straight to the school in the first instance. And a student can't appeal a grade where the evidence that's been produced has been produced by them. They can appeal in terms of if they think a technical issue has occurred, or that the wrong data has been submitted or something like that. They can do it at sort of a technical appeal, but ultimately the information that we'll be using will be provided by your child. We will also be telling your child what pieces of work we will be using to formulate our grade. So we might, for example, have 6 or 7 assessments and say, right, we'll be using this assessment, and this assessment, along with, for example, your mock results, along with for your coursework or assessed homework. All of these things are we're going to use to formulate that grade. We can't tell your child what grade we will actually be submitting, but we can tell your child what work we'll be using to formulate the holistic picture of what grade they're going to get. The ultimate thing I want to say, and it's probably the most important, is attendance. Your child has to be in school 100%. Okay, if they're in school, they're going to be missing potentially very valuable assessments, and that could potentially then impact upon the evidence that they have in their portfolio that we can draw upon for making our teacher level grade assessments, our TAG. So please make sure they're in school as much as they possibly can, if not 100%. Obviously, if they're genuinely sick or they're off sick, that's just one of those things, and we can make arrangements for any catch up there. Please don't panic. Okay, like I said at the start, we've done this last year with a mutant algorithm, with ranking, in a situation that we've never done before. We've been there, we've done that, we've got the t-shirt, we know what we're doing. We had no problems last year, we'll have no issues this year. Okay, don't panic, don't worry. We're in this together, we'll take it step by step, and we'll deal with any issues that arise. If you want to contact me, my email address is p.creed, that's C-R-E-E-D, at Gateacre.org, and I'm happy to deal with any questions. I may not be able to answer all the questions because it is still an emerging picture, but I will certainly have a go at answering any questions based upon the current knowledge that we've got about what it's going to look like. Okay, so don't panic, we've got this. Okay, speak to you soon. Bye bye.